Esmari!
Hi!
How's it going? Hey, Kat! How are you
Hi,
doing?
guys!
Finally,
So,
Esmari, we get to meet on the
I
screen.
know. It's so nice to see you face to face. Love your
Oh,
work.
so awesome. So awesome to see you too. And Kat, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so good. I'm doing my chat from a car today again. It's just the way things are working out, but I think the way things have been in the last year, like nothing's a surprise anymore. We are, what do they call it? Satellite working.
Mhm.
Oh, remote working there. Well,
Yep.
well, it's always nice to have you. And how lucky are we to have these two beautiful faces on our screen today? Come, Simon, let's make it three. Come sit here. Let's have three beautiful faces on our screen today. So awesome.
Yay!
Esmari, so tell us. I've obviously been following your posts on Facebook and that sort of thing, so I know quite a bit about you, but I want you to share your story with the Jeff family.
Okay, so obviously, I just wanted to start off to say thank you, Kathleen, because I think that I posted this a few months ago, end of last year, where I said, everyone always posts about their hit workouts and their lit workouts and looking awesome, and then nobody posts about flow, but they love the recovery, but they don't post about it. And I was like, what? Because I think that it's kind of um, an excuse a little thing that I'm going to say right now, but I feel like flow is like brushing your teeth. You have to do it daily, but if you do it, it's like, oh, I'm doing it, and then if you don't do it, you're going to start noticing it. And that's kind of how I feel about flow. I think that people do it and they kind of take it for granted, but it is such a game changer. And I started out with flow before Kathleen, sorry, Kathleen, cheated on you. I started out with flow beginning last year before I joined Jeff. And I'll be very honest, for everyone out there listening, I always thought yoga was like for hippies. And I couldn't do yoga because I mean there's no way that my body is going to do those type of poses, and I'm not flexible at all, so I can't do yoga. And a friend of mine encouraged me because obviously with lockdown, I think everyone had a bit of extra tension and stress. And my friend said, what is, Marie? The biggest thing with yoga is, you know, coming as you are. Don't try and be something. Be who you are right now. If you're inflexible, it's cool. Be completely inflexible. It's fine. But be present and try. And even if you just move 1 centimeter or 1 millimeter today, eventually it's going to make a difference. And yeah, I started the journey and I was blown away. I heard another interview where someone said that, it made them mindful. I think that's a big thing for me because I think we live in our minds and we're constantly thinking ahead or back, reliving a memory or planning ahead. And very often you find yourself driving in your car and you're like, how did I get home? And I think that's such a big thing of modern living is that we're constantly somewhere else except now. And then you look back and you're like, how did I miss that moment? Or how did I feel like I didn't really enjoy my wedding or this or that. Why? Because you're constantly somewhere else. And just taking a moment, and if you say to someone breathe, breath forces you to become present. And for me it's made me mindful, but it's also, and it's going to sound corny, bear with me, but it's taught me to love myself and realize how amazing our bodies are. Like even if you're not perfectly buff and like toned and whatever, your body is phenomenal. And I mean, the other day I was doing one of those runner's lunges, and you can go down on your forearms. And I've never been able to do that. And the other day I thought, oh, I'm just going to try. Boom, did it, crushed it, loved it. Yay! And I was like, oh my gosh, wow, you're amazing, And just starting that process of self love, I think that's the biggest thing for me. And then for those practical guys out there that think that sounds like a lot of crap, I think the practical, no, because my husband's like that. My husband's like, oh, girl, but now you're more present, whatever. So I think, if you are more practical, a big thing for me is I'm a bit ashamed to say this, but I've always had a bit of a hunch, and you could see it in my posture. And um, a lot of people told me it's not correctable. You'd have to go for surgery. And guess what? It's almost gone. So my hunch is literally almost gone. So that was a big thing for me. And then also the fact that my digestion has improved, my sleeping pattern has improved. and just overall recovery time. I found that even with a 25-hour workout, I did four flows, and I was tired, but I wasn't sore after the 25-hour workout.
That's amazing, Esmari. Well, I definitely resonate with a lot of what you're talking about, especially the husband part. So I'm going to challenge your husband to come do a flow class with me.
We try.
Kat,
Well, I mean, he's done a hit. I begged him, and he did a hit, so that's a start. But I think a big thing with yoga is just that realization of it's not really just all those fancy poses. Just sometimes just bending forward and doing a forward fold. It seems really simple, but then you do 10 of them, and you come back up and you go, "Wow, why is my body feeling different?" And it's in the small movement that big changes come over time, and really learning to love the journey, not just the destination. And one thing that I appreciate is that every single morning when I get onto my mat, I'm both a beginner in what I'm doing, and I'm also a master in something else I've mastered. So it's an ever-changing journey. It never becomes static. It's very organic, as your body is. And one thing that Kat always mentions is she talks about that mind-body connection and becoming present. But what does that mean? I think for a lot of people, realizing that your body and your mind is actually very disconnected unless you consciously connect it, if that makes sense.
absolutely, absolutely. Kat, I know you are
Sure.
itching to talk. You love to talk.
I mean, yeah, I think it's so beautiful when you hear someone speak about being present so often, because I think a lot of the time we listen to respond. So while someone's speaking, you're already trying to build up what you want to say back to them, which means you're not really present in actually listening to what they're saying. And what really struck me, Esme, is that you're speaking a lot about all the mindfulness work that you've put in, and I think that every person that's listening to this can hear how mindful you are. The way you speak about things, the detail, it's not something that you can get from a book. It's something that you've had to experience yourself, perhaps multiple times, until it actually clicks. And that's just by doing the work. That's by getting on your mat. I mean, Esme and I think, have connected on every platform possible, maybe except for email, and telepathy. But you're always inquisitive. You always want to learn. And I think it's that studentship inside of you that should be in all of us that is so, so, so important. I always say you can't win yoga. You can never say, "Oh, I've won yoga. I've now mastered the crow pose," because I can promise you, you can do a beautiful pose today, get on your mat tomorrow, you won't be able to hold it,
Different.
because it's connected to everything else going on in your life. So if there's a balance off your mat, most likely you're going to see that balance when you're on your mat. So it also becomes a very beautiful mirror, your physical practice, to see where you are in different parts of your life. And ek dink jy het dit al soos jy sit soveel liefde en moeite in yourself in that advice. And I really hope that inspires everyone. Just your love, like you said, like your love that you've grown for yourself. I can just see it. You're like, I love this girl. Don't care what anyone else says. I love my yoga. I love my body. I love myself. And how freeing is that?
Mm. And it
Absolutely.
changes everything, because then for like once in my life, I'm not waiting to get somewhere. I'm not at a place where I'm like, "Ugh, if I can, obviously, I still need to lose weight and become more flexible and tone and all of that." I think most of us have to do that. But except maybe John and
Want to do
Etienne.
it, not have to do it.
Exactly. But anyways, but I mean, instead of, having to get somewhere, realizing that today is awesome. Just be
Yeah,
excited about the journey.
it's like constantly not feeling enough. If
Mm,
you wake up every day not feeling enough, it's like it's poison. It's poison for your heart, and it's poison for your soul, and that becomes poison to your body. So you can just wake up every day and be like, I'm enough today. Whatever happens on my mat is exactly what needs to happen.
yeah. And then one last thing that I forgot to mention, I think a big benefit as well on the practical side is I think that you've taught us a lot of practical tools with regards to breathing and poses. So I've now started working again, and it's obviously you have your stressful days. And previously, I just be like stressed and maybe stress eat. And now, when I'm feeling like I'm getting overwhelmed, I actually move away, see if I can get outside, even if it's just in my garden, and use the tools, like use breathing techniques. I mean, you've loaded up some meditations. Literally go into a child pose. I know it sounds stupid because you're in corporate wear and what, you can't do that. You can do it. And it makes a big difference. And yeah, I've become a lot calmer and a lot more, I've got perspective. So now I can step out and go, okay, wait, is this really as stressful or am I just thinking it's stressful? So yeah.
Oh, that's amazing,
I mean,
Esmari.
amazing. Yeah, I think whoever's watching, Esmari, you've given so much valuable information and shared so much of your own, your own wisdom. So thank you for that. So whoever's watching this, I highly suggest. I think I'm also going to have to go back to this and re-watch everything to try and absorb a little more of what you said. Or what? How do you feel, Ryan? How did that make you feel?
Yeah, look, I'm actually looking at the comments here, and people are saying I need to start flow. And I mentioned it earlier to Simone, where we were at HQ, and I was watching you do your flow class. And not only was I was so focused on what was going on, I thought I'm not going to sit here and just watch you do it. I'm going to actually get involved and do it myself. And when I did it, it's exactly what Esmari said about time just spins so fast around you. Things are happening all the time that you're actually not really present when you're meant to be present. And in that moment of your flow class, Kath, I felt super present in what was going on. So for me, that resonates massively. And it's now like, before I was always saying to Kath and teasing and saying, yeah, I can't do your flow, I'm going to do whatever. But now I'm definitely going to be doing my flow with Kath because it's amazing. Esmari, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. It's inspired so many people here. The comments are amazing. I want you to go back and look at the comments and see what people are saying.
Definitely.
It really is awesome. And as always, Kath, you are just the most amazing person. Look at what you're doing. You're just changing lives daily. I'm the lucky one that had you 2 weeks now. I've had you last Thursday and this Thursday. How lucky. Thank you so much, guys. Have an awesome Thursday.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Well done for busting that workout.
Okay. Bye.